I am Meera, a girl from the narrow lanes of Barari, Delhi. I was raised in a small two-room house, where the fan creaked louder than our dreams. My father runs a tiny general store. My mother cooks for a family of 6. I was the first in my family to complete college. Not from a big university, but it was enough to make them proud. Ever since I was little, I dreamed of flying somewhere far. Not for vacation, but to work, earn, and send money back home. I wanted to build a house for my parents, pay off our loans, and one day, maybe open a cafe in Delhi. That dream took me to Dubai. I got a job through an agency assistant, sales supervisor in a luxury clothing store in Meera. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't high-paying. But it was a start. I left Delhi with 2 suitcases, ours, 4,000 in cash, and hoped that my broken English would be good enough. I was wrong. My first day in Dubai, the heat of Dubai felt different. It wasn't like Delhi's summer. This heat had silence in it, like the city didn't care whether you smiled or cried. When I entered the store for the first time, I felt proud. The mirrors, the lights, the perfumes. I thought I had made it. But then I met my team. The head manager, Mr. Kareem, greeted me with a nod. Just a nod. No smile. No welcome. Then came the rest 5 boys from Egypt, Morocco, and Lebanon. And one girl, named Sophie. She was the vice manager British, confident, sharp, and way too stylish. When I introduced myself, I stammered, "Hi, I am Meera, from India. I am new." One of the boys smirked and whispered something in Arabic. They laughed. I didn't understand what they said, but I understood the tone. Sophie just looked at Meth and said, "Follow me. I'll show you around." The silence, in my tongue. For the next few days, I barely spoke. I only said what was necessary. "Thank you. Excuse me. This way, ma'am." Customers spoke fast. Colleagues moved faster. And I stood quietly, folding clothes, afraid to say anything wrong. One evening, a customer asked me, "Do you have this in medium?" I didn't understand. I panicked and looked at Sophie. She answered for me, again. Later, she asked, "Meera, do you understand sizes?" I nodded quickly, too quickly. She paused, then said something I'll never forget. "It's okay to not know, but it's not okay to pretend you do." That night, I went back to my tiny room and cried. Not because I was scolded, but because she was right. I wasn't learning. I was hiding. The first break. One afternoon, during lunch, I was sitting alone in the corner, eating homemade paratha. Sophie walked in, looked at me, and asked, "Mind if I sit?" I nodded, surprised. She sat across from me and said, "You know, when I first came to Dubai, I didn't understand Arabic either. I used to fake smiles and hope no one spoke to me." I looked at her, shocked. "You?" I asked. "But your English is..." She smiled. "Perfect? That's because I grew up in the UK. But fluency doesn't mean confidence. I had to build that." That moment, she became human to me, not just my vice manager. And slowly, she started helping me. A new routine. Every day, after our shift ended, she would spend 15 minutes with me, correcting my sentences, making me repeat phrases, teaching me words I had always avoided. She made a rule. No Hindi. No fear. I would say, "I was go there," and she would softly correct, "I went there." Sometimes the boys would make faces, but one of them, Yusuf, a tall guy from Lebanon, started helping me too. He would slow down his words, translate what others said. And once, when I got scolded by Kareem for not understanding a return policy, Yusuf stood up and said, "She's learning. Give her a week." I looked at him like he was a stranger, because I had never expected kindness from the same boys. who laughed at me earlier. The turning point. One day, Sophie gave me a challenge. Next week, you'll lead the morning briefing. What? I almost screamed. Just 5 minutes. In English. You can do it. I practiced for 2 days. Then I stopped. I thought of backing out. But Yusuf and another guy named Hassan kept pushing me. You speak better now, Meera. Try. We're with you, Hassan said. So, I tried. That morning, with shaking hands and a heart ready to escape my chest, I stood in front of everyone, and I spoke. Good morning. Today's focus is customer greeting. We say, good morning. How can I help you? With smile. Okay? The room was quiet. Then Sophie clapped. One by one, the others did too. Even Kareem smiled slightly and said, Good, keep practicing. After that morning briefing, something shifted inside me. No, I didn't become confident overnight. But I felt noticed. For the first time, people didn't look at me like I was invisible. They heard me. Even Kareem, our head manager, who usually spoke only in instructions, nodded when passing by. That nod felt like a medal. Sophie smiled at me later and said, See, I told you, the only thing stronger than fear is action. I held on to that line like a prayer. The rude customer. 2 weeks later, my real test came. It was a Friday afternoon. The store was crowded, and I was managing the fitting room. A foreign lady came in with a dozen dresses and began shouting, I asked for a room 10 minutes ago. Do you even speak English? People looked. My legs froze. But then, I remembered Sophie's words. Breathe, then speak. I took a step forward and said, I'm really sorry for the wait, ma'am. I understand your frustration. Please come with me. I'll assist you right away. She didn't smile, but she followed me. After she tried the clothes, she said softly, You're polite, thank you. I wanted to cry right there. Not because she thanked me, but because I had finally handled a situation alone. Sophie's secret. One evening, I asked Sophie why she helped me so much. She smiled and said, Because years ago, someone helped me too. A teacher. I was failing, scared, and ashamed of myself. She told me, You don't rise alone. You carry others with you. So I'm just passing it on. That night, I wrote those words in my diary. You don't rise alone. You carry others with you. When I became a teacher, 2 months later, a new girl joined. Her name was Sana from Bangladesh. She barely spoke a word of English. I saw myself in her silence, the fear, the shaky hands. One day, she messed up an order and was about to cry. I pulled her aside and said, Hey, don't worry. I've made mistakes. I'll teach you. I stayed back after the shift and helped her understand phrases, customer lines, even how to smile with confidence, just like Sophie had done for me. Sophie saw us and smiled. You're a leader now, Meera. Kareem's change. Over time, even Kareem changed his tone. He still wasn't warm, but he began assigning me bigger tasks. When a VIP customer came once, he said, Meera, you handle her. You're calm. That was the closest thing to a compliment I ever got from him. But I didn't need words anymore. I had something better self-respect. The big day. 6 months into my job, we had a team meeting at the head office. All departments, all staff. They asked for someone from our store to give a growth experience speech. Before anyone could speak, Sophie raised her hand and said, Meera will do it. I froze. Sophie, no, I'll mess it up. But she held my shoulders and said, You've earned this, and if you mess up, so what? That's how you learn. For the next 5 days, I practiced that speech, again and again. Yusuf helped me with pronunciation. Sana clapped every time I got through a sentence. Even Hassan gave me tips. And then, it was the day. My speech. I stood on the stage with a trembling mic. I looked at 60+ people in the room, some smiling, some bored. And I began. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Meera. I am from Delhi, India. When I came to Dubai, I couldn't speak like this. I was scared of saying even one line in English. But a few people, my vice manager Sophie, my teammates, they helped me. And I helped others. Today, I'm not perfect, but I'm proud. Because I'm still learning, and I'm not afraid anymore. When I finished, the applause was real. Loud, warm, honest. Sophie hugged me. Yusuf gave me a thumbs up. And Kareem? He actually smiled and said, "Well done, Meera." Now, I walk tall. It's been a year now. I'm still in Dubai. Still working in the same store. But I'm no longer that girl who hid in the fitting room. I train new staff. I manage inventory. I've started taking online English classes to grow even more. Every month, I send money to my parents in Delhi. And next year, I'll bring them here for vacation. Not just to show them Dubai, but to show them what their daughter became. To every girl who feels small because of her English. I was you. I stood in rooms where everyone spoke better, faster, louder, and I wanted to disappear. But trust me, you don't need perfect English to grow. You need belief. You need one person to say, "You can." And most importantly, you need to keep going. One day, the same people who laughed at your silence will clap at your voice. And that day, you'll know you didn't just learn a language, you rebuilt yourself.